Most men grow up hearing that if they want a woman to be attracted to them, they need to create an emotional connection. But the problem is, almost everything they've been taught about what that means is wrong. They interpret emotional connection as being overly sensitive, always available, and constantly reassuring. They become the nice guy who listens to her problems, avoids conflict, and says all the right things in the hope that she'll eventually realize how much he cares. But that kind of emotional connection doesn't spark desire, it creates comfort. And comfort doesn't lead to chemistry. What actually works is far more subtle, and far more powerful. Real emotional connection, the kind that leads to attraction and even obsession, is built by making her feel. It's not about what you say, it's about how she experiences you. A woman becomes emotionally drawn to a man who makes her feel alive, unpredictable, curious. It's about tension, not tenderness. When she senses that there's more to you than what's on the surface, when you trigger feelings of uncertainty, excitement, even danger, that's when you bypass her logic and hit the emotional core. You make her mind race, her heart beat faster, and her imagination fill in the blanks. That's emotional connection, and it has nothing to do with being soft. It's about being the man who understands that desire starts in the unknown. When you become the source of that feeling, you're not just someone she likes, you're someone she feels, even when you're not around. Most men separate sex from emotion, thinking one is physical and the other is mental. But here's the truth, sexual desire is one of the most powerful emotional experiences a woman can have. It's not just about touching her or being close, it's about stirring something deep inside her, something she can't always explain. When you understand that arousal starts in her mind, not her body, you gain an unfair advantage. Because while most men chase physical cues, the man who can make her feel something just by being present becomes unforgettable. That spark, that tension, that craving, it doesn't come from being obvious or aggressive. It comes from subtle, confident communication that activates her imagination. A glance that lasts a second too long. A playful tease with a serious undertone. A compliment that's wrapped in mystery. When she starts to imagine what being alone with you would feel like, when she replays something you said in her head hours later, you've made an emotional mark. And that mark is deeply tied to attraction. You don't need to be physically close to turn her on. You just need to trigger the right thoughts. The way you speak, your tone, your presence, it all matters. If she feels a pull toward you that she can't fully understand, that's not luck. That's emotional design. You've created a connection not just through conversation, but through tension, curiosity, and suggestion. That's sexual energy at its core, and once she feels it, it's hard for her to forget you. Most men make the mistake of being too direct too soon. They think bold, explicit remarks will make her attracted, but that approach usually backfires. Why? Because women don't respond to desire the way men do. For most women, attraction builds slowly, and it's not triggered by what you say as much as by what you suggest. Mystery is far more powerful than clarity. A man who knows how to make her wonder what he's thinking, what he's feeling, or what he might do next is infinitely more attractive than one who lays everything out. Being dangerous doesn't mean being disrespectful, it means being unpredictable in a way that excites her. It means giving her just enough to spark curiosity, but never too much to satisfy it. When you say something playful like, "You keep looking at me like that, and I'm going to start thinking you want trouble," you're flirting without begging. You're implying without explaining. And that's what makes her lean in, mentally and emotionally. Women want to feel tension. They want to be teased. They want to be intrigued. If you remove all the mystery by being too upfront, you kill the emotional build-up. Instead, become the man who understands the power of pacing. Let her mind fill in the gaps. Let her imagination do the work. That space between what you say and what you mean. That's where the desire lives. Don't rush to close the gap. Let her chase the answer, and in doing so, chase you. A woman's most sensitive and responsive sexual organ isn't her body, it's her mind. If you understand how to engage her thoughts, fantasies, and emotions, you gain access to a level of attraction that most men never reach. Physical touch can excite her in the moment, but mental stimulation lingers. It's the things she thinks about when you're not around that build anticipation and longing. The real game is played in her imagination. That's why you don't need to be vulgar to be seductive. You just need to imply. Ask questions that plant images and allow her to project her own desires into them. Questions like, you ever done something you'd never admit to, or, what would people be surprised to know about you? These aren't surface-level questions, they're subtle invitations into a private world. You're giving her a safe space to be playful, curious, and even bold, without being judged. When you master this approach, every conversation becomes an opportunity to plant seeds that grow in her mind later, when she's alone, replaying your words and tone. If she smiles and plays along, that's not small talk, that's connection. You've already made your way in. You're not chasing her body, you're guiding her thoughts. And once her imagination starts running with you in it, her body naturally follows. It's not about control, it's about influence. Influence her mind, and you create desire without needing to push. She won't just be thinking of you, she'll be craving you, without even knowing why. The men who truly understand this dynamic operate on a level most guys never even realize exists. They're not chasing, they're not overcompensating, and they're definitely not trying to impress anyone. They walk into a room and instantly command attention, not because of flashy looks or wealth, but because of their presence. They know how to create a feeling. And that feeling stays with her long after the conversation ends. That's what emotional impact looks like. It's subtle, it's powerful, and it's rare. Most men try to impress women by talking too much, proving themselves, or showing off status. But the man who gets it knows that silence, confidence, and precision are more effective than words. He listens more than he speaks. When he does talk, it's intentional. Every look, every pause, every smirk is calculated, not forced, but natural. He doesn't seek approval, he assumes interest. That confidence is magnetic. And what separates him most is that he knows how to make her feel something no one else does, whether it's curiosity, excitement, tension, or mystery. He knows that emotion drives attraction. That's why women remember him. That's why they think about him, even when they don't want to. This isn't about manipulation or game playing. It's about understanding the psychology of desire and learning how to tap into it. When you master emotional depth, you stop chasing attention and start becoming the kind of man women chase. Because once you control how she feels, you control everything.